Go ahead and call the meeting to order at 1:02. And Executive Assistant Ruth Scott, go ahead for roll call.
Representatives, please state your name for the record when I call the taxing district you represent. City of DeKalb,
Bill Nicholas.
DeKalb School District, DeKalb County,
Brian Gregory.
DeKalb Park District,
John Shea.
DeKalb Township, Kishwaukee College,
Jill Hansen.
Public Member,
Larry Burke.
Kishwaukee Water Reclamation District, DeKalb Public Library, DeKalb Township Road and Bridge District, DeKalb County Forest Preserve, 5 present.
Okay. Next up is the appointment of a permanent joint review board chair. Take a motion to discuss this item.
Here, you have the approval of the agenda first.
I'm sorry. Next up, approval of the agenda. I'll take a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Moved by Brian,
Second.
second by Larry. Discussion? Seeing none. Voice vote okay with this?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
5 Motion passes. Next up is the appointment of a permanent chair. I'll take a motion to discuss this item. Well, that motion does not sustain, so we will carry forward that motion into the next meeting. Next up is the approval of the minutes. I'll take a motion to approve the minutes.
I make a motion.
Motion by Larry,
Second.
second by Brian. Discussion? Seeing none. Voice vote, all in favor?
Aye.
5 motion passes. Next up, public participation. There is no public member here. Seeing none and no comment, we'll move on to presentation of the third quarter TIF financials of fiscal year 2021. Bill, do you want to present that? Do you want me to go through it as well?
Why don't you do that and I'll do the termination?
Okay. Well, it was compared to the last quarter, it was overall a bit busier with more reimbursements to a lot of our private investment, and the fire station is along the way at this point. We're pretty happy to report where we're at the moment. Our AIP program is maxed out for the year. That's our typical $70,000 budget that we started with, our smaller TIF 3 district that we have. We did go up to 77,100. I'm not sure if the whole group here is aware or not, but AccuLab is coming from their Sycamore headquarters to DeKalb, and they purchased the old Camelot building. And Camelot vacated 4 years ago. It's a large structure that's been empty for DeKalb for quite some time. They're taking on a substantial private investment to make that their headquarters and do some expansion. So we're pretty happy to support that with that final 25 and exhaust what would have been a $70,000 budget there. So we're over our 7-1 because it's a strong investment for the city and the other taxing bodies as well. And he's just a great partner, and it'll be a good thing for DeKalb. So some of our major project summaries right now, Agora Tower, as you can see on really 4th Street and Locust, if everyone's familiar. You can see the walls going up at this point. They're trying to put a roof on that building before the winter, even though lumber prices are where they are, and they're doing okay. So as far as we know, we're going to be fine with having them be able to continue construction through the winter and have that ready next year, likely for a final occupancy certificate. So $1.9 million of that project has been spent, so it'll be just over $1 million left over that will carry forward into fiscal year 22 off of TIF 3. Fire Station 1 has had a small payout at this point of around $10,000. That is inclusive of a new HVAC system. There's a living room and kitchen and a living quarters improvement that's going on there, and they're fixing some plumbing issues to make that building up to code and safe for them to be in for a longer term, so. For the downtown Route 38 reconfiguration, this has kind of been a continued discussion and one that we continue to come here and say there's a delay after a delay. Well, right now, it is in IDOT's hands again, but we're looking at pushing this into next spring, unfortunately. There was some dirt sampling that had to happen, correct?
No, now we're down to the last thing, which is the possibility that the railroad may want us to move one of their signal lines across buck things.
Okay. And IDOT's having to put their blessing on those plans. Zach Gill, our city engineer, has been working really, really hard on finishing that project and getting first through fourth really into the construction phase. So hopefully next summer, that will certainly be in place and really get those sidewalks expanded to a point where they're more pedestrian friendly and it looks very nice downtown. So DeKalb Taylor Municipal Airport is having its repaving finished. There's been some nice photos that circulated of the long stretch of runway that they've had both north and south and east and west. The main hub inside the airport has had nice granite work finished on that project, and there's a nice steel die cut sign there, welcome to DeKalb Taylor Municipal Airport on the inside. Looks pretty nice. And 223 South 4th Street.
Can I say something about the airport?
Yes, sir.
So from 1986 until through this year, the airport has been one of the targeted areas for TIF assistance. And over the years, prior administration, council and so forth, had pledged the local share of the runway improvements, land acquisition, such things as that, out of the TIF 1 fund. And that's coming to an end. And usually the federal government pays 90%, the city pays 5%, and the state pays 5%. And these are huge numbers. So over the years, the city spent, TIF has provided probably millions of dollars, probably could have done even more, but people weren't planning ahead and thinking hard about projects. So that's done. Any future work over there will have to come out of more meager general capital dollars, which some years are good, some years aren't. We don't know that. So our horizon is a lot lower what we can do out there, but we're just finishing. As Josh said, one big thing that's been on the federal list for 4 or 5 years is repaving of both runways, and they had to close the airport for, it was closed for 3 weeks, and next week is going to be closed again because the IDOT has required a grooving to get the water off the new paved surface. We don't do on roads, but better, I suppose, than the runway. So, lost a lot of revenue this year.
Was that proposed solar project, is that in the TIF or is it outside?
It would be, well, it would have been in the TIF area, but it's not going to be eligible because TIF 1 is going to be gone, the land area is gone.
Oh,
the
I see.
is gone. Yeah, that's another thing that could have been done, it wasn't, but it's still a plus, it will generate some revenue. So everything east of Peace is now out of it. Frankly, everything east of 7th Street, except for the block, one block either side of 38 out to about Dodge Avenue, is gone.
And will both of those, the two parallel one-way roads, will those happen at the same time?
The 2 runways?
No, just downtown here,
Oh,
when you do the widening, because you're talking about in one way on 38, or just a widening?
no, just a wide. It's basically what we're doing, going from 4 lanes to 3, and with the middle suicide lane, turn lane. Yeah, and the sidewalks will be widened 5-6 feet on either side, which makes a difference for people. Because right now, on a sloppy rainy day, anywhere on the sidewalk, you're going to get wet because the trucks were through. And it'll cut down on the truck raceway aspects of it too. Yes, but we're not changing the one way on either side.
That's from 1st to 4th.
Yeah.
Any questions so far before I keep going? I kind of went through a few of those. Mentioned the fire station, I mentioned the Gore Tower. Okay. Former 200 South 4th Street DeKalb City Hall is no more. I think the foundation is even gone at this point, and they're looking to develop their property to have a number of residential units there. That will be a good addition to the downtown district. And then this quarter, we reimbursed City Hall Suites LLC, which is Pappas is behind that, for $502,000. Most of that was excavated. So there's some funds remaining for their development. The majority of that is finished to this point, but that was an interesting project that's got a good start because of what that meant to the city as a building, and now it's gone. So all good things. I really kind of discussed update on current TIP projects. I can move on to the presentation of third quarter financials, which is that green box chart in your packet. I think one other item to note that's important is the debt service line that you see in the second row in green. That debt service is related to TIP 1 only. It doesn't carry forward into the next central business district TIP, which is TIP 3. That $297,000 that remains will be finished off at the end of this fiscal year.
See what it says, debt service fund 120. This is last year that.
The former Eduardo's property owned by the Baillis, they finished out this quarter. They have 4 fully rented apartments upstairs that are complete with renovations and upgrades and windows. That's a great success story for that business. Good for the EAV down the road, and we're pretty happy that they got what they needed, what they wanted out of this.
Did you say they're occupied?
Oh yeah, they're fully rented, absolutely.
Having, living downtown, I think what's happening in these places is awesome.
Yeah,
I mean, hats off to
right.
people who made that happen.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, just to comment on that, just to follow is, college move-in. There are a lot of college students moving downtown, and I think that there's a lot of good opportunity there in the future too.
I think it just helped the downtown
Yeah.
grow more.
We'll move on to TIF 1 termination if no one has any comments. Ruth, do we need a motion to discuss that since it's an official item? I got to turn over to you, Bill.
Well, a letter went out to the tax matters. And there is a benefit this year, with a one-time benefit, this, in terms of new construction value and what impact that can have and what you may have to do with county detail. You're not, or you are detail, you are cap, you're not. So, and we're not, it varies, but just, you have a couple obligations in terms of announcing, like your truth in taxation notice that goes out. Have you done that already?
We're doing it next month.
Like that, yeah. So, I mean, there's messaging to be done, because people will see a big bounce. You only get this 1 year to claim involved and to figure out how much you want to get from that. So, but otherwise, I've been working with kind of really good dialogue with Diane. With Doug. So, back and forth, just as recently as yesterday, she and I were back and forth. It was just like another twist. Like, I think that the city EAV is different than everybody maybe closer to 696 million, but it's still not totally final. But the upshot of all this is we'll see the benefit now of 35 plus years of TIF, good or bad. It's, no, it's just great bad. So the next council agenda, which is Monday night, 25th, we have the ordinance that officially gives council vote to end to one. There have been some preliminary things along the way, but this is the one that puts an end to it effective December 31st. Anything you want to add?
No, that's, I think it covers it, but that is on the next agenda, so it'll be terminated, the TIF 1 redevelopment area, but yes, at the end of the year pursuant to our IGA. So this is the time to collect the TIF increment and to make sure all the taxing bodies are on the same page in terms of what that actually means. It's not, you know, your residents might have a heart attack when they see the truth in taxation notice come out, but it's a very simple message. It's the new AAV, which is all good, coming in, and the actual tax rate maybe less depending on what you do.
Yeah.
So I think it's just to explain that and push it.
Did you mention carrying a small reserve for appeals?
Yeah, we don't anticipate much, but we'll probably, well, we will show, and we'll carry the fund existence through to 2022. We're on a calendar year, and we normally would anyway, even if it was all zeros, just to show the transition. But for auditing purposes, we may have to spend, I think worst case, 20,000, it could be 1,000, we'll see what happens. Those open appeals currently that may or may not be resolved in time. Say they're resolved after the first year, we'll have to pay something, and we need to have something there, so we'll probably just carry that. And you will also be getting one last surplus payment, which is good. So we might be able to know that before December 31st, in this case, we could probably fast track that. In fact, I'm showing it as a 21 expenditure for us, but it may carry forward to last year. I think it was early February. It'll be coming pretty soon.
I appreciated the information coming out early and putting a number in.
Good. No.
Thank you. Well, next meeting is January 28th. With all that, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Larry,
I'll second.
second by Brian. Voice vote, all in favor?